everybody? It is the Lawn Gnome, and welcome to another Funko Pop update, the very first Funko Pop update video of 2025. Well, I am still here, and yes, I am still very much collecting, though I don't really know how 2025 is going to fare out. I mean, is it going to be exactly how it was back in 2024, where I saw my collecting just suddenly find a breath of fresh air, and I just started finding all of these incredible Funko Pops that I never thought would ever come to pass? There have been some true favorites of mine that have joined my collection in the last year, and I am curious to see what the future holds for 2025. I mean, right now, based on what I'm seeing, there's definitely a lot of fan favorites, but a lot of fan favorites that are not necessarily my fan favorites. There's a lot of new stuff coming out on the anime side. I mean, whether it's My Hero Academia, One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, Bleach, there's just so much stuff that is being released in the world of anime, and those collections are just growing to just gargantuan heights. Though I am very excited, and I know it's going to be a bit of a trick for me because of the fact that they've announced that there is going to be a possible Ranma 1/2 Funko Pop set based, of course, on the brand new Netflix show. And the part that's going to be very challenging for me is the fact that there is going to be a chase, and it's a specific chase that I really would love to add to my collection, but that could change over time. I'm not actually sure, because from what I'm hearing, this is not going to be coming out until the summer. But stuff that's coming out in more recent times that what I'm seeing is there was a brand new line of the show Suicide Squad Isekai, which I actually just watched and enjoyed it much more than I thought that I would, but I definitely don't want to get the Funko Pops. There are some other rumors about some Funko Pops that I am very excited about, one of which that they did announce that is official is a Hal Jordan Green Lantern with a thought bubble, and I don't have a Hal Jordan in my collection. I do have a Kyle Rayner Green Lantern, who is really my Green Lantern, but I just feel that if I have that Green Lantern and I have a Sinestro, it just makes sense to get the original Hal Jordan, which makes me very excited. And there also were some other interesting lines that were announced, like the 40th anniversary of She-Ra, Princess of Power. That is absolutely insane. I'm really surprised that they decided to only do a 4-piece, but I feel that's how Funko operates. They do a small set, and if it sells, they'll get more. There was a massive 80s John Hughes influx. There was a new Breakfast Club set, a Pretty in Pink set, a 16 candle set, a new Ferris Bueller set, and I am adding one of those Ferris Bueller Pops to my collection. Very happy about that. Almost went for the Ducky from Pretty in Pink, and then I just looked at it and I said, you know something, I don't really think I need it, so I'm not getting it, unfortunately. The sports world is also blowing up in regards to new sports stuff, but I'm really surprised that we haven't been seeing any more stuff on the New York front, because the Knicks right now are doing absolutely wonderful, and I would love to see a Josh Hart, I would love to see a Mikal Bridges, I would love to see a Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, I've already got my Slam Magazine Jalen Brunson, so any more Knicks that I could add would be great. And there hasn't been any hockey ones in a while either, so I don't really know what's going to happen with my Rangers collection. But I am anticipating a Juan Soto in a New York Mets jersey, and yes, I will be adding that one to my collection if and when it gets announced. And then there's some ones that are coming down the line that I am definitely going to keep my eye on for, along with the Ranma 1/2, and one of them was a possible rumor of a deluxe pop of Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown and a thought bubble of Charlie Brown going, ah. If that actually is going to be a Funko Pop, you better believe that I'm going to add that into my collection. And I think it was my wife that said every Funko collector should have that in their collection. But needless to say, there's some good stuff coming out, and I definitely see me still excited and hungry for new Funko Pops, but we will see what the rest of the year brings. But in the meantime, let's take a look at how my collection has been going. So today we're going to be taking a look at some additions to my collection that I never thought I would ever have in a million years. I am such a Jim Henson fan, and in the early days of Funko, the Muppets were some of the first Funko Pops that they introduced, and they were absolutely poorly designed. And then, of course, they did actually get the Sesame Street characters at some point as well, but I never really took any interest into them. So, of course, my pride and joy in regards to that stuff was adding a Jim Henson holding Kermit in his hands, which of course is an iconic thing in Jim Henson, anything, and I was glad to finally have that. And not to mention the fact that my wife does have 3 Fraggle Rock Pops in her collection as well. But as time went on, and I think it might just be because of the fact that I now have a 2.5-year-old in my life, and she is very much interested in things like Sesame Street. Sesame Street sort of creeped back into the house and into my life. Taking a look at what my daughter was watching, as well as introducing her to some of the old things in Sesame Street, like the songs and the old sketches, I kind of then decided that maybe Sesame Street and other Muppet characters should be here. So there were 3 in particular that just caught my eye, and the first one was a double pack. So it has been a long time since I've got a Barnes & Noble exclusive, and of course it is Ernie and Bert. So I loved Ernie and Bert growing up, and this sort of was a pop that I could have easily passed on, but again, one of my daughter's favorite things regarding Sesame Street is the old Here Fishy Fishy sketch. If you don't know what that is, just type in YouTube, Ernie and Bert fishing. It's one of the most adorable things that Sesame Street ever gave us. And I went to a Barnes & Noble. As a matter of fact, a new Barnes & Noble opened up in my neighborhood, and there was a set, and I showed it to my daughter, and I said, should we buy this? And she said yes. She likes Ernie and Bert. So, of course, we've got Ernie. I mean, this is the best that you could probably get from a Funko Pop in regards to Ernie, and of course he's holding Rubber Ducky, the iconic Rubber Ducky. It is what it is, you know, like, it's not perfect, but it's not the worst in the world. And the same goes with Bert, and of course he has some birds in his hand, and that's his pet pigeon Bernice. Yes, I know this stuff because this was my time. Also, you know, it's as good as a Funko Pop can get. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but they definitely get the style right, they got the colors right. I mean, of course, Ernie's got his sneakers, and Bert's got his saddle shoes. So, they did the very best that they could with them, and at the same time, you know, my daughter looks at them, she, like, points, there's Ernie and Bert, and she just gets very excited, so I'm very happy about that. But the one that my wife and I wanted to add to our collection when they first announced it was a true Sesame Street iconic sketch, and that of course was Monster Piece Theater. And even though the box says Cookie Monster, it would have been a true nod to fans growing up with Sesame Street calling him Alistair Cookie, because that's exactly who it is. It's Cookie Monster, of course, but he is in his dress robe and his slippers, and he's sitting in his cozy armchair, ready to talk about a story. That was one of the best things that Sesame Street ever gave us, especially when I was growing up, and even showing some of those old Monster Piece Theater things to my daughter, she really laughs when she watches them, because she also loves Cookie Monster. This is perfect. I mean, Cookie, this is a great design, because they didn't skimp out on the white with the black on the eyes. That's what you kind of have to do with characters like Cookie Monster and Grover and Elmo. You've got to keep that. And it's perfect. The smile is perfect. His chair, perfect. No need for style there. And the details on his robe and his slippers are great, too. This is a fantastic pop, and that's why we just ran for it the minute they announced it, and it's such a nice little addition to the collection. And having these types of things in my collection, you know, along with the Mr. Rogers and the Jim Henson Pop I have, it just feels right. That's all I'm going to say. It feels right. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Leave a comment in the box below. Let me know how everything went with you this past holiday season. Did you get any new Funko Pops in your collection? What are you looking forward to the most? Did I miss anything? I mean, I'm really surprised that there are no WonderCon exclusives, and I don't really know if we're ever going to see any more Emerald City Comic-Con exclusives, but, you know, that's just the way it all goes. You know, they're trying to do quality over quantity, it seems like, even though there's definitely been a larger amount of quantity lately, but still, there seems to be quality in that quantity, and that is pretty much why Funko is still where they are right now. So in the meantime, everybody, I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.